Well, yeah, it's in the basement. It's downstairs right now, but in boxes. But I have like maybe half here, and I still have stuff back home in Michigan. You know, from when I was really going hard and getting the free vinyl, the promo vinyl and all that stuff. Actually, I think my pops actually threw a lot of it away. Threw a lot of my records away. He was taking in his basement up, and he has a huge vinyl collection. My pops, you know, he's the one that really kind of got me inspired. His vinyl collection is crazier than mine, like walls upon walls of records, and it's mostly like jazz and blues. So, and you know, growing up, I heard it all the time, you know, jazz and blues, but it isn't until now, you know, that I'm getting older and stuff that I'm really starting to really appreciate it, you know. So, you know, down the road, I love to sit in the basement with him and just vibe out and listen to all that stuff he used to listen to. It used to be every night, and I was his like go-to person. I gotta show you all the speakers and stuff, but it's like his go-to person to make sure, you know, his speakers were lined up right and all this stuff. So I mean, I think you know, I think, like I said, I think my father in a way was probably my biggest influence in music. I mean, I just name him whatever comes to mind, to be honest with you. Like, I had this beat called Flowers for the Cat, and that was basically a cat got run over in front of my house in Jersey, and I just name it like whatever, like, you know, whatever comes to mind. You know, I've had stuff. I had one called Drunk with Sweaty Socks. I've had just random beat names, and then when I go back to try to find them, I never find them. And I got beats that are probably dope that I just don't even know where it is. So I definitely need help when it comes to that. Like, cause I think it's whack naming. I mean, it'd probably be better, but just naming your beat, you know, 11-1-05. Like, it's boring, you know. So you know, I try to think of kind of what's going on or how, you know, the vibe. But at the end of the day, man, that's why I miss really having a, you know, full-time manager. Flame was dope for that. She used to have my stuff in volumes. Everything was lined up. I knew stuff in order. And then ever since we kind of did our own thing, it's like my shit's all over the place. Yeah. I'm on the hunt for this synth right now. And at the time, I bought it like in I think in 06. It's made by this guy that does these modifications. And it's the only Moog that is polyphonic, where, you know, you can play multiple keys and stuff like that. So I bought it for like $5,000 back in the day, which is crazy, but now it's worth like $9,000 or something crazy, and it just keeps going up. Like, I wish I would have kept mine back then, but I'm on the hunt for it, and I'm trying to weigh like if I should really try to get it or finish my studio. So the last couple of days, I'm like, man, I keep making these changes to my studio. So I'll get it eventually. One day you'll see me with, you know, because it was my favorite set at the time. You know, probably my all-time favorite set. Just like, I use flangers on hi-hats a lot. I use flangers and phasers on hi-hats. I use slap delays on kicks. I use, you know, and the brands change, you know. It's just all about you know, for me, I think overall, like, I think, you know, one of the reasons for me I actually make an effort to try to have a sound. So for me, making each individual sound unique in its own way is important, because at the end of the day, when the beat is finished, you're gonna have these collection of sounds that all sound weird. Like, I never really just grab a stock anything, you know. I'll take it and I'll put some kind of effect on it. And I really wasn't big into effects until later on in my career. Like, I didn't even know what a compressor was, what a lot of these things were, until like real late in the career. Like, I started, like I said, when I was 23, and it took me, you know, a while to really get into effects, which is now the most important part, because when I was coming up, drums were like the thing. Like, you had to have the dopest drums, and you know, you had to have your collection, and you know, to get new drums, you damn near had to like rob somebody or steal or find a way to get the drums. And nowadays, everybody has access to drums. You just go online and just type in whatever kit you want. And so there's other things you can do. I mean, since that playing field is, you know, now even, now you gotta do other things to kind of separate yourself. So a lot of times it's effects and different things like that, different tricks, you know. When it comes to your sounds, you know, I mean, it's almost all you have sometimes to kind of separate you, you know. So, nah, I don't think I'm gonna do it. Like I said, I get offered a lot to have my own signature. Like, I mean, my goal is to have my own signature drum machine, you know, or something more along those lines, as opposed to just a kit, you know. So yeah, nah, never that. I mean, I do promo for a lot of companies, and people really do buy stuff because they saw me or somebody. I mean, that is just amazing. I get all the time. I get people, yo, I bought Maschine because of you and this and I'm like, that's dope, you know. So you know, thinking bigger, you know, instead of working for these companies and stuff like that. I mean, why not do your own thing? Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily. I mean, this is to be 100% honest. It's not like they pay you, you know, to promote their products. It's just, for me, ultimately, it's whatever product works best for what I'm doing. You know, I'm not gonna use a product just because somebody gave me a free one. You know, I can just pay for it myself. You know, I think ultimately the companies that listen to their customer and listen to, you know, are the ones that win. So I mean, I use Maschine for certain things, I use MPC for certain things. It just really kind of depends. Like, I got this new studio upstairs and it's dope. It's really dope, and it's well thought out and all that stuff. And I use it sometimes, and if I run out of inspiration, then I run to their competitor. It's not to say that one's better. It's just about what works for me, you know. So yeah, I know a lot of times people make it like this big competition, but ultimately it comes from your heart. It don't matter what you use, you know. People with Free Loops make doper beats than, you know, people used to kind of shit on Free Loops and stuff, but that's a dope program. It actually got me inspired to jump from the old MPCs to software. I used Logic for a while, and then even with the whole MPC Maschine thing, like, I started out on MP, so when I make beats, it's kind of in my head that way, like, you know what I mean, like sequencing and things of that nature. That's how I started. So I'm always gonna have an MP around, and I'm sure I'll always have a Maschine around. Yeah, man, I'm one of those cats that I read the manual. You know, we didn't have YouTube back then. You know, I didn't have any producers. I was in school in Florida at the time when I first started, and I just read. You know what I'm saying? It's a manual for a reason. I read and just taught myself, and really just listened to other producers to see what they were doing, not to mimic their style, but to kind of see what they're doing and how I can do it different. So nah, I never had anybody really tell me how to work. You know, nowadays, you know, if I have a question about any of the products, I can call somebody that knows, which is cool. But at the same time, it's all in the manual. This love and hate kind of thing, because that's just because software, you know, to me, music is real vibe based, and it just to sit in front of a computer and click on the mouse, and sometimes it just doesn't seem very musical, you know. Hitting pads and hitting tangible, like, physical keyboards and stuff like that, it just feels more musical, you know. So software is dope, and it has definitely plenty of advantages, but sometimes when I go back to hardware, it just It's just the simplicity of it all. Like sometimes with these programs, you sit down, it's such a big, like, you have a million, you know, strings now. You have a million this, a million that, and it's just like overload. You know, when, you know, you go back to the older stuff, you could only have a certain amount of sounds, and you could have, you know, your hardware only had, you know, you had your favorite presets. And I really want to get back to cranking them out a lot faster, you know, as opposed to spending, you know, so long and trying to find the perfect sound. Like, you could be a surgeon with Logic in some of these programs, which is cool, but you know, I'd rather be able to crank out a whole bunch of ideas. And that's kind of like to me, that's the difference between the MP and the Maschine right now, is with the MP, you can always just go to the next sequence. Like, you'll make a beat, an idea, and then like, oh, I'm tired of this. And let me just switch one knob, and then I got a fresh palette, you know? So, and I could do whatever tempo I want, so I'm starting over. I'm tired of that. Like, Philan, my old manager, used to come by my house and like, yo, what's on your MP? What's on your MP? Because it's just like a whole bunch of ideas that I may not have finished. And software, it almost forces you to stay on this one project. You know what I mean? I mean, if you want to go to another song, you have to close it, open up another session, and but me, I kind of like to paint on different things. It's just like having multiple canvases around and painting on, you know, a whole bunch of different things instead of being forced to paint on one.